Hello, everybody, and welcome back to DM Writer's Room. We're doing MorkBorough again, baby. We're running through it. We're at the end.
Yeah,
We've essentially made this.
I think this is probably our ultimate episode. I don't think we have anything
Yeah.
left to work on after this.
Remove the pen. We're going all in. So MorkBorough, we've got some tables to create, some final things to polish off, and then we're sending it off to the publishing arm of the company, which is Ethan,
Which is
to
me.
make it. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how we're going to format it to follow the MorkBorg stylistic patterns. Is going to be pretty intense. So, all that being said, Ethan, if you want to give a breakdown on what we've previously worked on and what we're looking at today, take it away.
Easy to do. Definitely not a 17-page packet
No.
now. Yeah, so what we wanted to do, yet again, the purpose of this show is to demystify the DMing process, to talk about how we come up with adventures, how we come up with games, how we come up with settings, but we're well into the second year, almost the second year of this program, and so we have started to have to sort of move into some other exciting directions. One of them is that we've started looking at other systems. We are mainly a D&D thing, largely because D&D is what wonderful viewers like you will watch, but we've been sort of starting to like swing around a little bit and look at what some other games have to offer. And so one of the ones we played recently was MorkBorg, and we decided to make what is called a hack of MorkBorg, which we are titling MorkBorough. A hack is when you build almost entirely on the system. You just change those things that you need to A, reflect what you think the game doesn't have enough of, or to highlight the things you are more interested in, and B, to give it the setting and trimmings that you want. There's a whole series of these based on two sort of central columns. One is powered by the apocalypse, is a term you've probably heard. One of our favorite games, Monster of the Week, is powered by the apocalypse. What that basically means is all of those games are hacks of the apocalypse world system. Another very common one is Forged in the Dark. If you've ever heard of games that are forged in the dark, it means essentially that they are hacks of the Blade in the Dark system. There are a few for MorkBorg, and we had a lot of fun playing it, and just sort of coincidentally, Spencer had this idea centered around the fact that in New York City and other major metropolitan areas, some churches have automatically feeding holy water. Like, you can press a button and it fills a bottle with holy water. And of course, we were all very attracted to that idea and thought that seemed very fun for, like, monster hunting in an urban setting. We said Monster of the Week already exists. So how can we put a spin on that? The MorkBorg version, where characters die constantly and where it is this, like, horrible battle with Doomsday on the horizon. With that, we came up with this setting, MorkBorough. Taking place in the fictional city of Helvetica, you war against monsters trying to delay the rising of the Blood Sun, this eldritch thing that wants to replace the sun in our own sky and fill the world with monsters. We are not super concerned, and the player shouldn't be, with characterizing that, because odds are, if it does rise, the monsters are not actually what we are afraid of. It is the people who will do anything to save the world. A group called Fang will appear and will start to essentially do a one-day inquisition on the city to kill anybody affected by the Blood Sun and to get the city in a state where the Blood Sun will stop being in the sky before it has time to set. That is what you are racing against. We have a calendar of fortunes after the MorkBorg calendar of Necrobell that we wait for. These are the things that you are slowly working your way through until you get to the end. Card number 21, The World. The end is here. Monsters surge. The Blood Sun dawns. This is the final day. From there, we talked about weapon options. I'm setting aside the things we still need to work on as I do this. Weapon options, from a broken bottle all the way up to a rifle. We talked about spells a little bit, but that, to be perfectly frank, is kind of boring for a stream. So we didn't get too in-depth about those. We're not really addressing the rules too much. You know, we don't really feel the need to delve into those. We talked about spell fumbles, and we talked about our character classes. We've replaced I can't remember the gutter scum and the something heretic. We have replaced with our own character classes, which are the touched, those touched by the blood sun that reflect some of its power, and inevitably will fall to its wheel. The servant, this is your mailman, your local community leader. This is somebody who is dedicated to the city and is there to support. The street, a sort of urchin street tough rogue character who is used to having to make their way. The soldier, a person who does not fit well into society, but who fits very well into the static world of violence. The heretic, somebody who has become obsessed with the knowledge that is offered by the blood sun. And then finally, my personal favorite, the everyman, the jack of no trades who burns bright in these dying days. You get no abilities, you start with equipment, and that is all you have. Personally, I think that sounds very fun. We addressed some monsters. We started to work those out. We maybe have a little bit of work left to do with those, not too much. And I don't think we are going to try to write an adventure for this until we know that the changes we have made don't break the game. Does that all sound like fair play, everyone?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. We will jump in then here in a moment, and I will read, just for fun, for those of you, a sneak preview, our flavor introduction, just to get us in the headspace here. Your life is short and bloody. Your work is essential and unknown. A dark yesterday has led to a midnight today and an oblivion tomorrow. Tooth and fang clash with blade and bullet in dark alleys and shadowed buildings. You fight and die to buy one more day of peace, but in your heart you feel the burning will of the blood sun. You are a hunter, you are prey in the cramped streets of Helvetica. What's the difference? Bum, bum, bum! All right. I think with that we should sort of hop back in. I'm just going to go through our packet in the same order it is in the MorkBorough book, and I think we are just going to address things. A perfectly fine answer is, that's not good for stream. That is not an answer we need to be afraid of. Some of that is true. For those of you who have watched, we will often create adventures here. We don't draw maps. And we rarely build encounters, because those both are you looking at a margin of a book and doing little bits of math, or you going, erase and draw. It's not really something that makes for good radio. The basic mechanics we do not need to worry about. That is the kind of stuff that is already taken care of. Our armor and options are good. Our equipment table's a little too long for us to do on stream, so I think we can pass that up. That's stuff like a pocket full of cantrips, a single vessel for water. Like, I really don't think we need to burden any viewers with that. Any rules kind of stuff we're not too concerned with, which brings us to our sort of first major thing, which is kind of a version of adventures that is here, which is a list of 20 things that in fiction are needed. So in MorkBorough, this is 20 requests of the great basilisks he and she. These are 20 things that are demanded of. There's actually quite a bit of debate on Reddit about what exactly the table is for. It's next to the magic and way before adventures. So a lot of people thought, do you need these things to do magic? Are they related to that? And the answer pretty conclusively has been, I don't know. So the way that I interpret them is as just a little adventure seed, right? It's the thing they're looking for. There are 20 of them in MorkBorough. I don't have the book for MorkBorough open right now because last time it made my internet signal kind of tank having them both open at the same time, because that's up in Drive. But it's things like a blade that has killed exactly 12 men, an eye that has seen something horrible. It's stuff like that. It's these sort of vague, evocative items. Now, I don't know how well that sits in our setting, so I guess my first question is, do we want to do this the same way? Is this 20 objects that are needed?
I guess needed. to do what is the real question for this. If in MorkBorough there's not really an answer, do we need it?
I think our answer to that question is pretty straightforward. I think it is these are items of power that need to be taken from monsters or men, right? These are things that are being offered to the Blood Sun, or that the Blood Sun wants and desires, right? And I think that the thing that makes me glom onto that is, a blade that has killed 13 people. Sounds like a ritual item, the kind of thing that you could offer to the Blood Sun to empower it. So that's what my first instinct is. These are, those things sought by the Blood Sun that you have to take before they can be delivered. The only other option is if we wanted to add something to the world building. Does our sun crave for items in the way that the Blood Sun craves for death? Are we able to sort of limp along and keep magic running and keep powers running by offering our own unbleeding sun some artifact? By the way, I want you to know I've got stuck in my head. I think we call the monster's sun the Blood Sun. I think they probably call our sun the Burning Sun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like this theme that it is entirely possible that these monsters are fully realized beings with a world that they want to survive as well. And so I think I like the idea that some of the more intelligent ones will call you, bastards of the Burning Sun. Our sun does not burn us, right? They don't have skin cancer or radiation in their world. That is something our world has. I think is sort of a fun version. So do we want to do something like that, or do we just want to cut this already confusing table?
I would cut the already confusing table. I don't think that it's gonna... If we were gonna go with, I would say Blood Sun stuff for quest hooks. But it's only good if you're stopping the apocalypse. Otherwise, what's the effect? Why do they give a shit about getting the dagger before it gets to the Blood Sun?
I think it's just a prompt. I don't think it has any other function other than the GM rolling on a table of 20 items, and that becomes the prompt for the adventurer, is this thing that the players are looking for, or might need to make, a blade that has killed exactly 13 souls. It sounds like the kind of thing the party needs to shepherd around a sword and keep count of how many people they've killed with it. Okay, so I will write cut with a question mark. Maybe if at the end of the stream we're like, we got 20 minutes left, which is not going to happen. What's up?
The other thought that we could do with that is how to explain it? For every one of these things that they do, they could prolong how long the normal sun stays, or you could do the reverse. There's these 10 things. If you don't get 5 of them by such and such time, another card's drawn. Something like that. You're appeasing the Blood Sun.
That makes sense.
Yeah, maybe it might be fun to do some version of this where
It just impacts time a bit more.
I know it's this. I don't want to bog down the game at the same time. It's just we have this theme that the Blood Sun rises and then falls, and that is the end of the world. Is that day? So I maybe if a card is drawn, you have until the end of the day to offer something to the Blood Sun. But then what's the point? But then we're able to take the cards back, and it kind of muddies our theme a little bit.
That's why I was kind of thinking, not taking the cards back, but if you don't do it within this time, you have to pull an extra card or something.
Ooh, double down. Yeah, okay, so a card is drawn at the beginning of the day, week, month, whatever. If you don't fulfill one of these supplications to the Burning Sun, another card is drawn as it sets. So it doubles down as opposed to taking back. I think that's interesting. It's like you have to go defeat this thing and get the 13-souled blade as an offering to the Burning Sun, lest another card be drawn as the sun sets. You instantly get another issue. I think that's pretty cool.
And then you get the dilemma, do I want to keep the 13-soul sword because it's pretty good?
It's pretty sick.
Yeah. Okay,
I think I could take on another card.
Okay, so do we want to circle back to that page, or do we still think this is a loose idea? What are we doing?
Loose idea. We can come back to it later.
Next thing, this is one of our big workhorse things that we need to get a little bit of progress on. What is our cutoff time tonight? 8:39. Which of those two?
9.
9. Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking 8:45, 9.
Yep. And if, like we said, if Michael, if I know you got something going on,
Yes.
if you need to cut, we're filling tables. You know, we're not exactly, we're not
Yes,
doing the
yes.
sort of stud stuff here. All right, so there's 4 huge character creation tables in MorkBorough. There's traits, looks, personality, and background. These tables are in sequence during character creation, and they each have 20 items on them. They are quite hefty. I just remembered that my tablet is within arm's reach, so I am about to get the MorkBorough book up because
I'm pulling it up now too.
Yeah, we are sort of basing it.
So which
Again.
one is this? Is the character?
Yeah, this is our character tables, which are all in sequence after character creation in the MorkBorough book. For those of you watching in the future, feel free to follow along at home. Grab a tablet or your own copy of MorkBorough. We are looking at pages 39 through 43. Page 39 being the first is our terrible traits. Endlessly aggravated, inferiority complex, problems with authority, loudmouthed, cruel, egocentric, nihilistic, prone to substance abuse, conflicted, shrewd, vindictive, cowardly, lazy, suspicious, ruthless, worried, a biter. Bitter. I was like, a
Bitter.
biter. Bitter, deceitful, wasteful, arrogant. Those are the traits that they offer. Our game is somewhat less negative implicitly than theirs.
Yeah.
What did we want to do with these? Their terrible traits table is trauma, a bad childhood, hidden history, or a twisted fate attending your birth already shaped you. These are negative traits you begin the game with. They are optional. It says so at the top.
I don't mind any of these. I might get rid of prone to substance abuse as a random roll. That's about it. Everything else is fine. Worried, deceitful, arrogant, wasteful. As long as we say, this is optional and this isn't what your character is. This is the worst thing about your character. That's fine. It's a flaw. I don't mind these. I would be okay changing them, but they're kind of universal, right? This isn't a medieval thing. This is just humanity.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's fine for now if we think it's not a good use of stream. I would say before sort of thinking of this as a completed product we've worked on, I would certainly say we should redo these. They are referencing a sort of cutting throats in a back alley to make ends meet during the apocalypse that our game is not about, right? This hyper negativity of traits doesn't really fit the game sort of stylistically. I'm fine with keeping it because, like we said, it's functional, and so we can sort of move on and not bog down the time with it. But this does not align with the sort of theme of our game, which is that the job is dangerous and bloody, less so than the entire world is, right? Those are sort of two different takes on the same thing. Our game is much less heavy metal than MorkBorough is. Pretty unavoidably. But we also could be leaning into like warped, right? You are instead of traits, right? These would be like shadows of what happened to you at the beginning of your, what fell you into this horrible world that you are now trapped in. So I think it's fine for them to be negative traits, but some of them I'm just a little less certain are functional.
Yeah, nihilistic simply won't work. That it just doesn't make sense. That's not. You can't be nihilistic. The point is you're trying to get this to move one more day.
But we can for now sort of move on. What I have down as looks, they have on as broken bodies. We have staring manic gaze, covered in blasphemous tattoos, rotting face, wears a mask, lost 3 toes, has a limp, starved, gaunt, and pale, one hand replaced with a rusty hook, decaying teeth. I'll skip ahead a little bit. Long tangled hair, at least one cockroach in resident. One hand lacks thumb and index finger grips like a lobster. Red swollen alcoholic's nose. Chronic athlete's foot. Stinks. Nails cracked and black, maybe about to drop off. This is the sort of broken bodies table for these bad boys. I'm just gonna
and
keep...
this is where I would do your first encounter with something. It's the magic of the Blood Sun after reading a tinged scroll has partially blinded you. Your eyes are milky white, right? Or one of the hunger beasts ripped a scar across your face and you're forever marred.
Or a zombie bit you and you were fast enough to cut off the limb, but you're one limb down.
Yeah, your veins are blackened.
Sure, yeah. That's a good trait for one of the monster, the touched.
So I've got... Okay, so traits I'm rewriting as hauntings. Looks I'm rewriting as Mark of the Blood Sun or Blood Sun's Mark. And we'll talk a little bit about what these are. I'm trying to keep an eye on time as well. Personality is pretty straightforward. They don't have personalities traits. They have bad habits. Obsessively collect sharp small stones, unable to get to the point, have never finished a story, inveterate bug eater, pyromaniac, you stutter when you lie, you make jewelry from the teeth of the dead, you whistle while trying to hide. Yup, it just says you whistle when you try to hide. If you roll a 5, 7, 9, 11, or 13 on a d20, you whistle. Okay, for sure.
So these are just weird habits.
Yeah. And then troubling tales. The whole group can share the same backstory, or groups within groups can share a tale, or the GM can quickly give a history to each character. This is our last section. Pursued for manslaughter. There is a bounty. Very recently murdered a close relative. Very recently. Burned or be burned is the fate you accept. Don't know what that means. At permanent war with all corvids. No contact without violence. You carry a sling. Have a cursed, never-healing wound. A battle wound left a shard of metal slowly inching closer towards your heart. Every day there is a 2% chance you die.
Like Iron Man.
So there's some of the background, if you can call them that they have on offer here. So we are switching traits for these, like, hauntings, these negative traits that you've been given by your encounter with the Blood Sun. We have these physical reminders of what has been left.
And a backstory.
And then bad habit, I almost... Reading them through... some version of, like, coping mechanisms seems like what they really are, right? They are some odd way that you deal. And then background, these, like, troubling tales. I mean, this could be literally what happened. But
yeah, I mean, the backgrounds, it's like nobody's a hero because they have a good upbringing, right? That's the D&D joke. MorkBorough, nobody's a MorkBorger because they had a great upbringing either. You killed somebody and now you're on the run. For ours, it's like it would be the same thing. Even if you've encountered the Blood Sun, if you're not crazy, you would leave Helvetica.
Yeah, you just leave.
These people are wild. So there has to be a reason for them to stay. And it's stuff like this.
So I think doing 20 of each of these would be exhausting and not super helpful. So I think we should rattle off like 5 for each and just see, or create some broad categories if that's something that interests us. So let's... do you guys want to start at the front and move in? Go hauntings, marks, mechanisms, and tales? Or do you want to start at tales and go the other way? I just take up to excuse me.
Go first.
Yeah, start from terrible traits or whatever our version is going to be called.
Yeah, their terrible traits are our hauntings. These are odd characteristics you have taken up in the wake of your shattering of your perception of reality.
Yeah. I'm going to say for mine, it is secretive. You don't trust anybody. You can't let them in.
Secretive. I like it. I had a very similar one. I was going to say quiet. I was going to say sort of steely. I will replace it with steely, which is not quite the same as secretive.
I was going with rage bound.
Ooh.
Rage bound, wrathful. I like it. Rage bound.
Vain.
Vain. Very good. I'm gonna throw. We might do 20. We're rolling. We just hit 6. I'm gonna add a 7th that I think is kind of fun. I'm gonna add devout.
Ooh, interesting.
Devout. You came out
like
on the other
that.
side, and you. I often enjoy. We come up with character ideas a lot that I never get to fucking play in games. I often enjoy the person who is faced with unspeakable horror and becomes a Catholic. There's something very funny to me about them being like, demons! It is demons! Like they can't grasp. And so they grab the first religious text they can think of, and that becomes their whole reality. So we have secretive, steely, rage-bound, vain, devout.
Self-sacrificing.
Ooh,
Like
all right.
they're looking to be the self-sacrificer.
Yeah, they feel like nobody else should have to be the one, so they're going to do it.
I've written martyr.
Yeah.
The one I had is like afraid to be alone, almost like clingy.
Ooh, clingy
fun.
is good. Clingy. I'm almost. I would probably do clingy, and then in parentheses you'd call it extroverted. End parentheses, right? This need. Secretive, steely, ragebound, vain, devout, martyr, clingy. I will add. What's a word for somebody who likes to party? Somebody who needs to cut loose.
Dionysian.
Yeah, work hard, play hard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dionysian is kind of fun. I'll do that at least for now. We might need to explain it a little more for game text purposes.
I got vindictive.
Vindictive, I like it, especially against these monsters. You are,
Vindictive actually is number 11 on the terrible traits chart.
I'm not surprised
really?
that we. I'm not surprised that there will be definitely.
There's going to be some.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be some overlap, and that's okay.
I'm gonna write a little bit of a long form one, but that I think is really. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to spell a word. A little bit longer. I'm gonna write jealous of the uninitiated.
Yeah.
Your character regrets learning the truth of the world, and if they could, would give up all of it for the sweet embrace of lack of knowledge. Any others kicking around the can?
I could see something like stoic.
Steely. We've already hit
Steely's
steely,
already in there,
which
yeah.
to me
That'll
was
do it.
stoic. I guess I don't know if that's
I
necessary.
I was
forgot
thinking
that
that'd
was
be
one of
with quiet.
Yeah, that's all essentially the same.
Secretive, steely, ragebound, vain, devout, martyr, clingy, Dionysian, vindictive, jealous of the uninitiated.
What's that, 15, 14?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think stop. Cut it
10.
10.
We're
We're
good.
running loose on ideas.
I had one other idea.
Go ahead.
What is it?
It's like it's like they're broken, but in like they're insanely happy. almost. Manic, thank you.
Manic, and if we are going to do manic, I will add
Depressed.
despaired. Yeah, melancholy maybe. Something a little bit more
Yeah, melancholic is easy.
melancholy. Okay. That forces me to add another that I think. Oh no, wait! I'm gonna save it. We can't forget that we have those coping mechanisms coming up.
Yeah.
So I have a good idea for those that I will file away now. All right, Marks of the Blood Sun. Marks of the Blood Sun. These replace our sort of broken bodies. I'm gonna have to go. I want to get one on the field now that Michael said that I don't want to lose. I think our first one is a self-severed limb.
Yeah.
It's up to you why. Like, why did that happen? Where did that happen? How did that happen? All that we know is you have a self-severed limb. You cut it off. What else is kicking around?
face has been marred by one of the monsters.
Sure. How do we want to, like
Scarred.
scarred
Yeah.
visage? I'm trying to find just something with a little
The-
bit more flair.
More punch. Yeah,
Scarred
scarred visage.
visage is good.
I liked Spencer's from before the milky eyed.
Oh yeah, you look too close into the blood sun, and your eyes have gone milky.
Snow blinded by the blood sun. Very good. All right. Self-severed limb, scarred visage, snow blinded by the blood sun. I will add a limp that never betters. Right?
Yeah.
Sort of this.
Mhm.
Again, we want to inject just enough vagueness in at the edge that people can really come up with some stuff that, it's not too locked in. So we have a self-severed limb, a scarred visage, snow blinded by the blood sun, a limp that never betters.
Pallid skin and blackened veins.
Pallid skin and blackened veins. Oh, good heavens. Pallid skin and blackened veins. I will add.
I was thinking something with partial deafening, but I don't know what that would be. So we can not use that for right now.
I mean, it's tinnitus. It's a
Hmm.
real,
Yeah.
very real normal thing. If you wanted to just put, these don't all have to be poetic.
Oh yeah, like ceaseless tinnitus.
How do you spell ceaseless? C-E-A-S-E?
CEA. Yep.
Ceaseless tinnitus, which is funny because all tinnitus is ceaseless, so it suggests that this is some real nasty
Yeah,
wicked
no
here.
pauses. This is just ringing.
Resting. I'm looking through here. So we've got self-severed limb, scarred visage, snow blinded by the blood sun, a limp that never betters, pallid skin and blackened veins, ceaseless tinnitus.
Elongated teeth.
Long teeth? Long teeth doesn't
Yeah.
seem right.
You're long in the tooth. Sharpened canines, sharpened teeth, stuff like that.
Yeah, I got it. I said long teeth.
Maw, pointy teeth.
Yeah. A maw where a mouth should be is pretty good.
Yeah.
It sort of covers. Self-severed limb, scarred visage, snow blinded by the blood sun, a limp that never betters, pallid skin and blackened veins, ceaseless tinnitus, long or sharp teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
A wound that never heals.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty classic. A wound that never heals.
Always just pouring out a little blood.
There's, I was thinking like shockingly white hair. You're a 20-year-old, all white. Not an albino. That's separate.
I think I'm going to write traumatized hair.
Yeah.
Hair or hair bleached by trauma, maybe? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
4, 5,
hair
6.
bleached by trauma.
Hair
Hmm.
bleached.
How many are we at there?
9.
Okay.
One more.
I'll give a one that's fun. Remarkably uninjured.
Yeah.
Remarkably uninjured. 20, right? Remarkably uninjured. Untouched by fate. I think is a fun addition.
Yeah, it's fun. You go around the room where it's like, why are you doing this? Like, oh yeah, his leg's been destroyed, his face is ripped to shreds, and there's that guy.
Yeah.
He looks fine.
remarkably
What happened
untouched.
to you? You don't want to know.
Yeah, you've been left perfectly fine. No outer trappings of what has happened to you whatsoever.
Hell yeah. All right, that's 10.
Now we're on to these sort of personality kind of coping mechanisms. These are a little bit more long form. Obsessively collects, pick your nose so deep it bleeds. Some of the bangers they give you. A nihilist. You insist on telling everyone why you are a nihilist. Pretty good. Inveterate bug eater, pyromaniac. I'm going to add clean. Clean. You are clean. Everything you carry is clean. You need the world around you to be clean. You are clean.
Obsessive about entrances and exits. You make sure there's a way in and a way out everywhere you go.
Hyper vigilant.
Yep.
We're sort
Support
of
blanket.
kind of walking the line between traits and personalities here a little bit.
Yeah.
No, they are
Support.
quite similar. Both feature the term nihilist. You can have the nihilist trait, or you can be a nihilist. You tell everyone why. The same thing can apply to both, right? Hyper vigilant, I think, is a trait. Hyper vigilant is a coping mechanism. It's verbal.
Yeah.
It's something that you are doing actively that people see, rather than something internal that is happening. I think I'm gonna just keep pyromaniac because that works.
Yeah.
That doesn't need any help.
The one I was thinking was support blanket. You need your blankie.
Oh yeah, a security toy or blanket.
Security
That's fun.
blanket is very good. Security blanket.
I would say like armed to the teeth. You keep all of your gear meticulous health and on your person.
Armed to the teeth is very good.
And also, cloth to the teeth. Every inch of you is covered in some form of cloth. You will not
That's
touch
fun.
anything.
Yeah.
Shrouded?
Armored. Yeah, shrouded. Some shit like that. We'll say shrouded for now. Oh, I think I might be being.
All right. Sketcher. You're always trying to draw something. It's usually you're drawing something horrific.
Yeah, sure. Sketcher. I'll put that in a backslash with just artist. The need to put what you are seeing down on paper or in or on the strings of your instrument, something of that.
Medium could be anything. Could even be the blood from your pricked finger.
Yeah, I'm gonna put one that I think is funny. Medium, like you think you can see. You've become obsessed with fortune. Medium, or I'll put slash. What's the term for people who believe in like all those portends?
Clairvoyant.
Less good than that. Just like superstitious.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Superstitious in general is great.
Yeah.
And not quite, to me, a personality trait, right? Personality trait, again, is rather quiet. I would say the version of that would be like anxious or, rather than superstitious, which is verbal. Okay. Clean,
I would do...
hypervigilant, pyromaniac, security blanket, armed to the teeth, shrouded, artist, superstitious.
Avoids the dark, I think is fun. Always a flashlight, won't go out at night if they can help it, shit like that.
Yeah, what's the
phobia?
The fear of dark.
I'm
Yeah,
working on
it. Here, let me check.
I'm halfway there. Fear the dark.
He's already got it.
It's an Iron Maiden song that has really messed up my ability to
Damn it.
Google. Nyctophobia.
Yeah, nyctophobic.
Nyctophobic.
It's also called scotophobia and lygophobia.
I am going to write soapbox preacher. Again, sort of turning devout up to 11 as a character trait that is visible. You are quoting scripture in moments of tense firefighting. Not always the most appropriate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was our 10th. We got any more?
Nice.
Got any more in us?
Let's move on. We've done 10 for the others.
Except for traits. Traits we went up to 12. We just kind of kept rattling those off. Backgrounds. A tale most foul.
Something that fucked you up in your past and makes you want to do this thing.
Again, an identity thief who recently killed and replaced this person is one of
Always a winner.
theirs. Had an illegal, immoral, and secret affair with a member of the royal family, and you have proof of it. Doesn't really line up with our little game here.
Nope.
So, my number one question, do we want these... the way we've been talking about them is that they are in the past. We are talking about the background of the character, as in the moment, your first sight of the Blood Sun, the dawning of the Blood Sun in your life kind of deal. These are active. Have a rare sought-after item. Have a cursed, never-healing wound. Funnily enough. These are active. Is there a direction we're leaning in? Do we like the change of them into a passive thing of, like, this is what came before?
I think it's a good idea to have something present, something that they can currently contend with. It's like, is a holder of a holy relic, right? You have this fucking thing. Nobody else knows you have it. We should do something with present so they can deal with it now.
I'm cool with that.
Okay, I'll write the first two. One, what Spencer just said. Holds a relic of the burning sun. And directly below it, I will write, holds a relic of the blood sun.
I think that having somebody who is an actual prophet here is fun.
Prophet of what? Prophet of the Blood Sun or Prophet of the Burning Sun?
Great question.
You see visions. And I think we can leave it there. You see visions.
Family is currently dying of a Blood Sun disease.
Seeking a cure. For an alien malady.
Last of a bloodline of hunters.
Last scion of a dying house.
I do think committed a crime, moved to Helvetica to get away.
Fleeing the law. Pretty good.
Prophesized hero.
No, there's no chosen ones in our games.
Okay. Prophesized loser and wants to change theirs.
That's fucking hilarious. Your future has been prophesied, and it's that you're a failure.
You want to prove them wrong.
Yeah. That's up to you. Maybe it's like, all right, if you're the martyr, it's no matter what I do, I'm going to fail. I'm going to sacrifice myself so somebody else can succeed, But you're prophesied to be a failure. Fun.
Oof. Trying to just sort of mull around with some other... Seeking vengeance. Unbelievable that we don't have that.
That's fun. You drop that in like you're fucking trying to kill a regular human man in the middle of your monster hunt. That's great.
Yeah, seeking vengeance. There might be something fun. It's not very present. I guess it kind of is. You were a killer before you learned about the Blood Sun.
I was mulling around.
You had already spilled blood before the Blood Sun rose in your life.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you were already a sociopath or something like that. And this is just a more legal way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a little closer to our sort of rage-bound trait. I also liked it for it, but I just don't know if it's really covered by this as much. We are at...
What are we up to?
7.
All right, we each need one more.
Holds a relic of the burning sun. Holds a relic of the blood sun. You see visions. Seeking a cure for an alien malady. Last scion of a dying house. Fleeing the law. Seeking vengeance.
You made a deal with one of the monsters to survive for something, to get past something, whatever. But now you have to deal with that shit. You made a deal.
Struck a deal that is coming due.
I have 2 ideas.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is seeking a lost tome.
Okay.
The other one is looking to take down Fang from within.
I unfortunately don't really want the players to interact with Fang until it's too late.
Okay.
Because otherwise they don't work as well.
You could be not necessarily a former member of Fang, that would give you too much information, but a former informant or somebody who has been like taken and tortured by Fang, so you have a reason to oppose them and know a little bit more than others.
So I guess it would be Fang is looking for you, or
Yeah.
touched by Fang, or
Bitten by Fang.
yeah, bitten by Fang. What was your other idea?
Oh, it was looking for a long lost tome in the city.
Oh, it's you
Knowledge.
you've discovered a map that leads to something. You don't know what it is, but it's somewhere in the city. You know where, you don't know what.
Seeking a map's end. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to fill in our last spot. You have proof that a figurehead of the city is a monster.
Nice.
You have proof that someone important is not what they seem.
And they know it.
Bum, bum, bum! Okay, very good. Now, spell fumble table, we took a little bit of a look at, and we had a couple of options out. For that, there's supposed to be 20. We had 7 covered, so if we can drum up 3 more, we had you are blood cursed. You must kill the source of your curse. We have your HP is halved. We have your spell blows back in your face. We have you are cast forever in bloody light. We have a mutation. No further description beyond that, which is kind of fun. We have a fortune comes to pass. The next card is drawn. You have brought the world closer to its ending.
What about one of the traits we were just talking about changes?
I was thinking the exact same thing. That'd be 3. There's the terrible trait, there's broken body, and there's the long form personality things. Those could be 3 different ones.
So
you gain a new trait on each of these tables.
Yeah, so roll haunting.
Would we
roll
say gain or change?
I would say gain, because
Okay.
it's easier just to stack another on top than it is to have like your long fanged teeth swap out to a limp. It's better to be like, no, you still have that, and you're worse off.
Okay.
So we have roll haunting, roll mark, and roll cope. And then our last of the 10 that we wanted to do, we had you are seen. The blood sun sees you. Your character dies immediately through some horrible means.
Yeah.
And we had another one that came up coincidentally last session, which is you speak only the truth. One that I think is absolutely hilarious. Your character is now incapable of lying for the rest of the game is so funny.
So funny.
We get to our character classes, which are pretty well worked on at this point. It's 8:26. I don't think we need to sort of rehash what do we think each one's individual potential ability should be. I think we can hold off on those. Our monsters, we talked about a pretty great deal. We have the Hunger. Under that, we have the Vampire and the Werewolf. Under them, we have the Renfield, the Ghoul, and the Scavenger. We have the Uncanny. Beneath that, we have the Shifter and the Liminal, or the Poltergeist, a creature that is also the space it is in. Beneath that, we have the Mocker, the Dreamer, and the Shade. The Mocker can impersonate your voice, but nothing else. The Dreamer visits you in your sleep. The Shade is a living shadow. And then we have Helplessness. So we have the Helpless, which is this obviously pinnacle monster, just like the Uncanny and the Hungry. Beneath that, we have the Siren and the Pursuer. And beneath those, we have the Pied Piper, the Trespasser, and then Carcosa, a distant other, a place shrouded in mist. Again. So I think that we probably have a creature that brings you to that location, right? We're probably not fighting a fictional world from the King in Yellow.
It's like it's a Will of the Wisp,
Yeah.
right? Some shit like that.
I'll write that, because I think that is a lot more clear. Will-o-wisp, I think, is good. Okay. So I don't think we need any more monsters than that. Maybe at some point in the future we should sit down and come up with another category or two, but that was pretty slow last stream, so I don't feel the need to do it again. What I would like to talk about a little bit here is there is something else in MorkBorough that we didn't really deal with too much. After our monsters come our followers, outcasts, those that help the party. The options given here are Earthbound, which is basically just people. Wild Wickhead, which is like seemingly like a little fey creature with a lantern for a face. Pretty fun. Pale One, which is like a pseudo-vampiric alien thing. And then a Prowler, which seems to be a bandit of some sort that is working with the party. The GM makes a morale check from time to time and adds the group's highest presence to the roll. The GM should also consider whether or not the group provides the outcast with the things it wants. So these are basically somewhere between like a hireling and a follower, as in like the MCDM follower system that I use. So you guys are pseudo familiar with those. They only give 4. Pretty brief. Did we have any ideas for a couple of these?
Would we want it to just be different types of people? So it's like a member of a gang, or the gang itself, you get into their good graces, or a police detective, shit like that? Or do we want it to be like a goblin with a sack of coins?
I like maybe one that is monstrous, and I think the others, I want to generalize it just a little bit, because like gang member is a little specific, and also we would then have to come up with a bunch of fictional gangs. That would
it's
be
like criminal.
Yeah, I mean, so the one that you made me think of with the detective first is the Seeker. This is a father looking for their missing child. This is a detective looking for the case they cannot solve. This is, this is a neighbor looking for someone who's gone missing. The Seeker, somebody who is looking for something, not combat driven. That is not this person's role. Not magic driven. They are seeking something and will be of some help. They will be of some aid.
And I like the idea that if you get them, their son or whatever back, then there's no morale roll. They will offer you aid in whatever ways they can from then on. We got your son back. Now they're going to bankroll you a new car so you can get around, whatever.
Yeah, I like that. So we have the Seeker. Do we want some version of like the Imp or the the Fragment? This thing, the Jealous, almost, right? A creature of the Blood Sun that seeks your aid for some reason.
I think it's funny to just be a bunch of humans and a little imp shows up and is like, I'm here to aid you. I think that's really funny.
So we have the Seeker, we have the Imp, What are some other characters? And get into the genre. Think about the Monster Hunter. That was a really helpful exercise for us last time. Like, get into the genre here. Who's missing from our cast, right? As these sort of like lovable misfit characters that are on the outside. We have the Seeker, we have the Imp. I'm thinking of the Driver, the kid from Constantine that dies. I'm thinking of
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, the Driver, the Helper, the Apprentice. These are some of the other ones. The Apprentice isn't bad.
The Apprentice, I was gonna say like a youthful, fucking somebody riding around on a bike.
Yeah.
Apprentice is great.
I was thinking like the innocent escapee, somebody that was in jail incorrectly and they got out.
Yeah, what's one that's somebody with nowhere else to go? The Abandoned?
Yeah. The Abandoned works. That'll fit in for somebody who's like just gotten out of prison for wrongful conviction. That's an orphan in general. There's a lot of options for that.
So we now have enough to stop if we want. We have the Seeker, the Imp, the Apprentice, and the Abandoned.
What else are we missing? If we were, yeah. I feel like that kind of runs the gamut of my typical NPC. There's the Wizened.
I like
it's somebody who's seen this shit before.
I like the Wizened. This person who's too old to keep doing this. And then what's some like version? What I'm just again getting into tropes. What's like the Outsider, the hunter from another city, the person who has fled here.
I
the
like
exchange
that.
student.
Yeah, I mean, something like that. I do like the idea of the Outsider. It's somebody who doesn't belong, but that could be anything. A priest who's shirked off the collar.
I'll do
like it's a bunch of random
the
shit.
Outsider / the refugee, maybe, right? This person from another place. I'm not sure which of those two sides.
I could see it almost being like somebody that escaped the last Blood Sun area.
I'm going to briefly go starting soon for anybody watching. I have to change the music over, and I absolutely hate playing in silence. It is...
We got to get a Stream Deck.
Yes.
We do.
So you press a button and it goes... Pew!
Yeah, pretty objectively. I mean, if any of our 6 to 14 consistent viewers has like sort of a cushy $200K a year job, we'll set up a coffee link or something. Help us start having any technology that every other streamer has. Okay, I think that's good. We've got 6. That's fun. And I like that the things that we are building on are things that, and I say this with a tremendous amount of love for this incredible game, I find a little frustrating about this book. There's 20 character options and 8 monsters, and I'm like... And the thing is, it's supposed to be like, well, you can just like customize it. It's supposed to be fast and loose, and I'm like, all right.
For a one-shot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could certainly give me... And that's why I like that, like, we're doing the trees and stuff are sort of expanding without going too far off, that you end up with something just confusing. Next thing on here is a full adventure called Rot Black Sludge or the Shadow King's Lost Heir.
Yeah, let's go ahead and write up a quick full adventure. We got 20 minutes.
I will say, looking at theirs, it is pretty cursory. I think we could...
Yeah, be about 20 minutes.
I just don't feel like it. Again, we've got 25 minutes on the board. Let's circle back if we have the time. Because what we do have are adventure tables. We can decide if this is something we are interested in. It is as follows. Where do you wander? 1d12. So it's 1d12 locations, and then it's who or what contacts you. It's 1d20 NPCs that tell you what they want. And Adventure Spark, it is 1d100 instigations for adventure. So, for example, the 1d100 is 1d100 for no reason. It's actually 1d50. I don't know. Which is funny because at the same time, MorkBorough does do 1d66 in another part in the book. So why they were so dedicated to authenticity in this moment, I don't know. So for example, if I was the DM and I was running a one-shot and I shook my dice, I would, in this case, In the poor wasteland countryside, you are approached by a sacrifice who escaped a death cult, and they need you to investigate a weirdness that has left Bergen Crypt.
Okay.
So that's sort of how it functions in theory, right? If you if I were to do that again, in the untamed wilds of Toveland, a monk who was bitten at night tells you of an artifact which must be destroyed. That's the adventure table. Is this the kind of thing we want to muddy around with?
Yes, I think it's really cool. I don't think I've seen this way of doing it before. Are we going to do a D100 Adventure Spark table right now? No. But I do like it.
I think we could try to do... Let me see. Let's do this. Same statistical percentages we've been doing so far. We've been doing 20%. We've been doing 5 for 20. So let's do 3 for 12, 5 for 20, and 12 for 50. So 3 locations that are a little more specific than where we already, than the locations we already know exists for our benefit.
So it would be a nightclub in the downtown district.
Yeah, exactly. To go over those incredibly quickly, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 5. Past the outflow of the Olmsted River is the oldest district of Helvetica, the Wharf. Docks and warehouses line the water alongside those few fishing boats that still ply the trade. Deeper into the city, old brick buildings and antiquated shops fill cramped and crooked city blocks. Tales from the old hunters swirl around circles of blood in old attics and beasts from the sea. I'll read the other one shorter than that. Downtown, new buildings and old fight for space and recognition, liminal halls and dark alleys are stalked by predators of all kind. The Park. It can be hard to hunt down beasts when the world does not want you here, but if you're lucky, something of value will be left behind. The Park is the wealthy area of the city. Rookwood. When people go missing, they are met with half effort and excuses. More than any other, this is a hunting ground. Rookwood is the poorest and most dangerous district to live in. Canal Town. Gray pavement leads to a department store and strip malls, cul-de-sacs and suburbs spill over hills. This place is and is not part of the cycle of the Blood Sun. This is Jersey City. It is this sort of exterior half place. Much in the way that, unironically, if you leave New York City but stay in that like 15-minute bubble, you drive by 84 Targets, 12 White Castles, and a Sonic. You're suddenly stuck in this place that's meant to serve the people of the city, and then people also live there. Kind of an odd in-between space. So with all of those options kicking around our heads, can we think of just 3 like solid options akin to the barren fields of Kergus in the center of Alliance at the city wall of Galgenbeck?
Yeah, it's the club strip of Rookwood. I don't remember what it was called.
You nailed Rookwood. But
Hell yeah.
The club strip in downtown or Rookwood? Which did you mean?
I'm going to say downtown because that's where the parties are.
In downtown. Yeah, downtown is like Times Square. It's like Broadway. It's these, like upper echelon areas where money is spent, and you get off your train, look at 12 things, and get back on your train. So the club strip in downtown.
I do have a second one, and it is an abandoned ship at the docks of the wharf.
Abandoned ship in the wharf. It doesn't show on my paper because obviously I am printing everything in black and white, but I did in fact take the time to color code those words a little bit in a way that I thought was a little fun. Abandoned ship in the wharf. I'm going to add, again, nice and vague, hole in the wall in Rookwood.
Nice.
I think it's everything we need to know right there. And with that, we've done it.
I had one other idea.
Go ahead, say it.
Go ahead.
Now, quickly!
It's the suburbia. It's the suburb of Yonder.
Oh, the fucking Jersey City place
Yeah.
in the burbs.
The/a suburb in... Oh no, what did I name that?
Suburbs
Canal
are so
Town.
fucking creepy sometimes.
Yeah, they are.
Like, if you get that, it's like, suburb, there's some shit going down. We don't know what it is. You get there, it's a poltergeist. Incredible.
Good stuff. Okay, 5 NPCs that contact you looking for aid. Their options include badly burned priest, remorseful hangman, demented elder, sailor too long at sea, terrified soldier with broken knees.
Half-morphed werewolf.
Oh, yeah, a half-changed person. That's fun.
Half changed. If you have been touched by the Blood Sun, this person has been caressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lil Sally from down the street.
On it, that's fine. I think a child, that's fun. A child with nowhere else to turn.
Let me look at... yeah, let's put a little spin on that. Little Sally's too specific. Child with nowhere to turn isn't bad, but you said it in a cringy voice, which makes me think you don't like it.
No, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I just wanted to say it like that.
Okay, a child with nowhere to turn.
Haunted child.
I'm gonna
I
write...
think a parent looking for a person looking for a missing person, right? A parent, a spouse, something like that.
Parent looking for haunted child.
Parent looking for haunted Sally.
Yeah, so I have sort of just seeking the missing. Someone in search for something or someone. And then I've added a living ghost. And by that I mean somebody who's basically dead already. A living ghost. Somebody who's given up before they have begun. We only need one more.
A member of the clergy.
Clergyman seeking more than prayers. Good stuff.
I can't wait to try these bad boys out with some quick random rolls. See if they work.
Yeah, because right now we have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we need to come up with. I would like to do 12. We don't have to. 12 adventure sparks. Which some examples: 66 sacrifices are needed. Trapped by an earthquake. A dead demon is resurrected. PC doppelgangers go berserk. A fire threatens to devour Sarkash. They're coming out of the walls. Children hum forbidden songs.
Children hum forbidden songs we do need to keep. Because we've got the Pied Piper. That ties right in.
Okay,
True.
children hum forbidden songs. I am going to add the ghost of a home rises. It's nice and vague. I like it. The ghost of a home, not of a place, not of a person, but of a place. A faint memory lost to time. I'm going to add downtown killings have grown strange.
People have gone missing in a location, right? Everybody who's crossed through has not returned.
A gate. A gate from which none return. I will throw on a hoarder from the sea. No more context than that.
Voices echo through the streets.
I will give it a little bit of context. I will say voices echo in Rookwood. 1, 2.
The position of man and beast has swapped. Beasts rule the land. You know, fucking werewolves.
Okay, I was about to say, that was a huge leap from voices echo down the streets to a dog is in charge of the
No.
town!
Werewolves are fucking prowling.
A manhunter prowls. Love that. I will add a summoning gone awry. I will add...
There's one in here that I like. The count goes crazy at night. It would be a leader loses his senses with the setting of the sun.
The leader loses their senses. Already got it. No sweat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We have children hum forbidden songs. The ghost of a home rises. Downtown killings have grown strange. A gate from which none return. A horror from the sea. Voices echo in Rookwood. A manhunter prowls. A summoning gone awry. The leader loses their senses. I will add at the top, a statue bleeds. A statue bleeds the blood of the missing. Let's add a little texture.
What's the word for land that a church consecrated? Unconsecrated ground must be consecrated.
Unconsecrated ground. Just for a little bit more variance, I'll say unconsecrated ground must be blessed. Just so that we're not using the same word. The same root word twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Una mas.
One more. Michael, you got anything?
I don't know.
A hunter has slipped away. They are the hunt now.
There's one I have in mind. It is an agent of Fang has entered the city.
Fang watches. Blind their eye. Okay, so that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NPCs and 13, ironically, 13 sparks. So, just for example, I will grab the dice. I have to kind of really noodle this one around. Okay, let's see. We have on the club strip in downtown a clergyman seeking more than prayers. Tells you of voices that echo in the street.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's roll one. I already had to fix Rookwood. Didn't work because we have locations at the beginning.
Yeah,
So I already had to cut one, which is funny. Oh wait, I shouldn't be rolling a d6. I should be rolling a d8 for that. 1, 2, 3. In a hole in the wall in Rookwood, a child with nowhere to turn has seen a horror from the sea. It's pretty functional. I got no issues.
Fucking rips. It sounds super cool.
Yeah, it does.
I am actually going to do one more because this is fun.
Okay.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At a hole in the wall in Rookwood, someone seeking the missing tells you that children hum forbidden songs. Yeah, these work. This is good. These all pan out. This is no issue.
Every single one. That was awesome.
And with that, we have 8 minutes left, and that was my last major construction that we had to get done. If this was a simple home game, and we didn't hold ourselves to a certain standard of quality, we would be finished with our sort of hack of MorkBorough. And that is, again, sort of the point of this specific group of 3 of our streams. There's no good way for us to convey that to you through clever titling, but is, as much as we are that now going to delve into several months of write-ups and edits and write-ups and edits, and then should we do the same formatting? And then trying to figure all of that out. If your friends wanted to run a really grim, dark game in your same setting, like they love the world, but they want to see something terrible, you could spend... What? Our total time across all 3 streams was 5 hours, 6 hours,
Maybe.
and that's with trying to be entertaining. And with the 3 of us, you could sit down in 3-4 hours, hammer this out, make the changes you need to make, and send a PDF to your friends and be like, "Hey, this is this along with MorkBorg. Here's the PDF that we all probably have in a Google Drive for that game. You know, grab the pages you need, leave the pages you don't. It's all right there. It's the bones, no issue." We've still got some time left. We can try to do one of our famous, always remembered, never forgotten bits that we never forget to do. Or we can circle back on one of these areas.
There was the D20 offerings to the Burning Sun.
Yeah, D20 offerings to the Burning Sun, which could certainly become 1D10 offerings to the Burning Sun, 1D10 offerings to the Blood Sun. Or we could just do 1d20 offerings to the Burning Sun. I kind of like to the Burning Sun. I think it's a little more fun.
Yeah. Did you take from MorkBorg a blade with the Souls of 13 upon its sharp edge? Was that you?
There's
or
a
was that...
version. There's something similar, but not quite the same. Let me check. Let me find it. Yes, the basilisk's demand. A sword that has killed exactly 12 times. A widower's wedding ring. A sliver from a sinner's grave. Rare anti-obsidian from the Eurylian crypts. A body drowned in Lake Onda. Gems from overflowing pockets. Joy's lampoon written in blood. The forbidden brew of the Hermit of Tarion.
So we need
Nice.
5 to fit our working amount.
Yeah.
The first idea I had for offering, it was like it's forms of 6. It's like 6 undead eyes, 6 corrupted bugs, and 6 something.
So it would be 666. So you need 6
Yeah.
of one thing, 6 of another, 6 of another.
Exactly.
Sort of getting into some sacred numbers there. That's kind of fun.
Oh, like a 6-fingered hand. So it's just one item.
Sure.
That's hard to find. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
A 6-fingered hand. I like a 6-fingered hand. I'm gonna put a key to a secret door. A key to a secret door?
I'm going to say like a plank or a stone of the oldest building of the city. You know, a piece of the foundation of the oldest building.
A piece of the foundation. Pretty good. A key to a secret door, a six-fingered hand, a piece of the foundation. I will... holy oil, consecrated in the old way.
A difficult one is like a limb offered freely. It would have to be one of the party offers up. It'd be easy to do, but difficult because you have to cut off your character's arm.
Or find somebody...
who would be like, yeah, I'll do it.
A limb offered freely.
In the same vein, an oath from an innocent.
Would it be better to have an oath broken? No, this is the Burning Sun.
I think that's... I'm fine with both. I think they're
Yeah.
both good. An oath broken. I like something that I really enjoy when I see it in tables like this that we've sort of done here is like... So I would do an oath broken, and then beneath it, an oath kept. Like, I think that's fine. It's fun to have them in the same spot. And to not try to be too clever. Like, let people notice that you did the same thing twice in a row and that's the bit. Let them see them next to each other and go, huh. You know, there's no issue there.
How many is that? 6?
We're at 7.
7, nice.
A key to a secret door, holy oil consecrated in the old way, a limb offered freely, a piece of the foundation, a six-fingered hand, an oath broken, an oath kept. We got 2 minutes left. I'm going to call this one a bang-up success. MorkBorough is
huge.
Frankly ready to play, let alone ready to sort of operate in and run.
Speaking of, maybe next scheduling conflicts or soon-to-be scheduling conflicts, we can let MorkBorough rip as a playtest.
Yeah, absolutely. The only major work we have to do here is the very noodly work with class abilities and spells. Those are the only 2 things that we need to sit down and like crank out the math to make sure that they all work. But thankfully, MorkBorg is a very tight game. So there's not a lot of bloat that you have to sort of do.
There's a couple abilities.
Yeah, to make sure
Not
that
a lot.
everything works. As long as you keep things realistically 1 die of a high value or maybe 2 die of a low value, you'll be okay. It's why working on creating things for games like this is easier than for D&D. It's why I tend to say, as much as I'm a proponent of D&D and D20 systems, MorkBorg's a D20 system, so sort of heavier systems. If you're always struggling to keep up with prep and you're always struggling and your party is to like keep up with the rules, it might be time to switch games. Like it just might be time to back off the gas a little bit and sort of take a look at some other options for yourselves. Namely, one that we publish sometime in the next decade, because please. All right.
Yes.
I'll kick it back to you. I think this was a huge success.
Yeah. Great job, gang. For all of our viewers, thank you for tuning in. You can catch this stream every Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for next week, because one of us, and I won't say who, is going to be on vacation. So with that in mind, we're not going to be able to stream all of next week. Besides the Thursday stream, every Wednesday, we stream an actual play 5e podcast, starring all of us, a couple of our other friends, in Theros. That is 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Fridays is our home game. You can't watch that one, but you will hear us talk about it on occasion. We're playing Rime of the Frost Maiden. So you're definitely going to hear more stuff about that. So follow us on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, our website, ttrpguy.com. We just put up a new article on what you can learn from Blades in the Dark and how you can put it into your other TTRPG game. So with that, we'll catch you on the next